Hello and welcome to Gold Patch Notes Rundown, the League of Legends patch analysis for gold players by gold players. I am your host and guide, Smalls Fry, and this is the patch 10.2 notes. I would like to make a temporary addendum. This currently actually is bronze patch notes rundown. Placements are still underway as the school semester has started, and obviously, that has caused issues with my playing schedule, but rest assured, we will get back up to silver at least, and eventually end in gold, so that we can resume the original series. Anyway, as I mentioned, this is patch 10.2. This is the second patch of the season. LCS starts this Saturday, so hopefully we'll see some big changes. Actually, I shouldn't say hopefully. I have read through these and talked about some of the changes with friends, but I'll just skim over them with you guys real quick. So highlights, new skins, all of that. First, Aphelios. He got some nerfs. Basically, for the long-range sniper rifle, consuming the mark is less damage overall. It doesn't scale per rank. It doesn't... Actually, how does that work? Because I'm pretty sure that he doesn't put points into his abilities, or levels 1 to 9. I don't know. Anyway, basically, they reduced the AD scaling, and they made it so it no longer increases by level. And then the cooldown has also been increased by 1 second early and 2 seconds at max rank. Let's see. The Chakram, which is his big DPS thing, but it's shorter range. That one just doesn't scale as hard late. And then his Q, which is the one that heals him. Why did I say Q? His pistol, Severum, looks like the Q damage on that scales the same per level, but the AD has decreased. So basically, he's not going to be able to hit quite as hard. I still don't think this affects the main problem with him, which is that he is kind of unclear and mechanically just broken. The fact that he can place a turret and then auto attack you from across the map. You have no counterplay other than don't be in the area with the turret, which apparently it does target champions over minions. I've seen lots of clips where it does that. So basically it just eliminates an entire area of the map from your ability to use it. So sure, the damage nerfs are great, but they don't fix him. Draven, he just gets a AD scaling buff on his ult. I don't think that doesn't change his laning, because again, it's only affects him starting at level 11. So this isn't a laning phase change, and by late game he should be scaling hard enough that he can carry. Otherwise, he's already doomed. So personally, it doesn't matter, right? In my opinion, it's not going to change his laning phase at all. If he bullies you in laning phase, he carries even harder now. If he goes even in laning phase, he catches up faster. That's the only thing. So it doesn't change laning phase. It doesn't really change the way people will perceive the champion. Jinx, she gets a small change to her passive. So now if she assists with a epic monster kill, so either Dragon or Baron, then she also gets her bonus movement speed on her passive. Karma, plus 10 damage, and plus 10 shielding on her Q and... the plus 10 damage on her Q and W. So Q, that's kind of okay. I can't remember if not evolved, if she uses RQ. I can't recall if that multiplies the damage. I think that's just an additional damage plus the zone that explodes later. This is an even smaller change, because I believe it ticks over 2 seconds, and it ticks every quarter second. So basically, she gains, so you break the chain and she doesn't deal as much damage, right? You break that tether. So this is an even tinier change, right? She gains, if you break it a second in, she gains 5 damage, right? This is inconsequential. This may be bigger just because it'll add up. It's her poke ability. This does not matter at all. Lulu, let's see. Armour gets rounded up. AD gets rounded up. That's still... Wow, I did not realize that her AD was that low. Her E cooldown is lower. I believe that's her shield, if I recall correctly. E is what lets her shield. I can't remember what it does to enemies. So basically she can shield more often. That's actually a decent change. I have not seen Lulu much. I do hate the champion, but just, simply because I am a Skarner main, and Lulu directly counters Skarner in that if he ults anybody on the enemy team, that is a free knockup. He cannot ult someone and pull them into his team while Lulu is around, because it means that he's just knocked up his entire team for free as soon as she presses R. So, really hate the champion, but I do think this is a good change because I haven't seen much Lulu lately. Now, is this going to cause other effects, such as bringing back Twitch Jungle? I really hope not, but who knows? I can't really make a judge of that. I just know that Twitch Jungle with a Lulu on the team is absolutely broken. So, that's just something to keep in mind, that with the rise of Lulu, you will start to see the rise of champions that can take advantage of Lulu's ability to shield and, I guess, buff the health of her allies. Nautilus, Q base damage decreased by 10 early and another 5 per rank. So, honestly, I don't see this changing much. You don't take Q for the damage. Now, granted, he does deal a lot more damage than you would expect out of a support. And to be honest, 250 is more damage than I expected in general. I think changing his Q cooldown, changing the way his E works might be another good step. If he's ahead, he should definitely be able to fight another support or a tank 1v1. But right now, the problem with Nautilus is that he is too strong to be a support, but he's not strong enough to be a top laner or a jungler. His clear speed in the jungle is way too low. His ability to clear top got gutted several seasons back. So at this point, he's relegated to support because he can't clear well, but at the same time, he's strong enough as a support that he gets permabanned. So I think Riot needs to take a close look at Nautilus. Now I will note that they are giving him a VFX update, so you'll be able to see his Q hitbox more clearly, but his Q hitbox is still bugged. So that's something else that they need to figure out. It shouldn't be hooking people through walls, but I've seen several clips and been hooked through a wall myself. So, Nautilus needs more than just a base damage fix. It's not a case like Aphelios where he is mechanically unsound. It's a case of he is just unsound for the role that he has been designated to currently. Okay, next. Keanu. This is the one that my friends and I talked about that was a little bit controversial between them. Personally, I think this is a pretty big change. Her attack speed passive on her W, it goes from 20% flat to 5 to 25% scaling per rank. Now, what's most impactful about this is she takes 1 point in W early just so that she can get elements on her Q, and then she doesn't put another point into it until she's maxed out her Q and her E, which means she's not putting points into this until level 14. It's not until level 17 that this evens out. So up until level 14, she is losing 15% passive attack speed. That 15% is equal to 375 gold worth of stats. Now, if you are attack moving properly, you're not going to lose as much. One of my friends actually went ahead and did the full math, and it's something like an extra 0.2 seconds per auto attack, right? But you can minimize that with attack moving and animation canceling and stuff like that. But it's still that is a decent chunk. That will be felt early. That will slow down her early clears. My friends estimate that she's probably going to have to go to buff Gromp buff in order to hit 3 and then gank even earlier than she normally would. So expect Keanu jungle to either completely die out, or if you see it, expect early ganks, because she's going to hit 3 as quick as possible and then move to ganks until she has the damage on her Q to efficiently clear Krugs, Raptors, Wolves. Anyway, moving on. Sona. Her only change is the movement speed that she gives to herself. Instead of being 10 to 14% scaling with rank, that is now 25%, and then it goes from a 3% to a 4% AP ratio. So, honestly, this doesn't fix what Sona's problem is. Yes, it makes it easier for her to dodge skill shots, but her E is, well, really all of her abilities are pretty costly for her to use. If she's spamming her abilities, especially if she's using her E to dodge skill shots to stay alive, she's going to run out of mana very quickly. Now, that should be a weakness of a champion. You shouldn't be able to just spam abilities unless you're someone like Ryze where you're designed to, but even then, the problem with Sona is, yes, she can dodge skill shots, but if she gets nailed by one CC ability, she pops like a balloon. She is extremely squishy. I think things have changed a little bit, but it used to be that she started with less max HP than a melee creep. A melee minion. Melee lane minions had more max HP than Sona. So she pops quickly. This isn't going to fix her. This isn't what she needs. I'd like to see her get either some better resistances, or maybe let her W give her resistances. I believe it used to do that back before they changed it in like Season 4. Season 4 is when they changed how her auras worked, but I think her W gave passive resistances, I think, to people within that, to allies within that range. So yeah, this doesn't address what she's struggling with, so I don't know. Okay, let's see, looking at Thresh, so he got some VFX updates last patch, and it looks like they are updating some more of those. So his Q now has width indicators for his new skins, plus a bug fix. VFX added a new quick cast indicator on all skins, so I guess he has a quick cast indicator. I'm not sure what that is exactly. Let's see, and then on his Pulse Fire skin, that gets new effects. Alright, not much to talk about there. Trundle. This is something I'm happy to see. Trundle is the other champion besides Skarner who ends up being listed as Rest in Peace, RIP, on op.gg because of lack of stats, lack of player base. I really like Trundle jungle. He's someone that I like to play as kind of a variety pick, other than Skarner. Kind of the same play style, right? Run fast, slow people, hit them. Anyway, so his W gets a 10% at every rank buff, and then his E gets a 5% at every rank buff. Of the two changes, this one's definitely the more impactful. Usually you use your W as you're engaging, and you also use it for the attack speed when taking camps. And if you kill a camp while it's still up, which you generally want to do for the healing increase, it will also mean that you can then run along that frozen domain and get that bonus movement speed to the next camp. So that extra movement speed does actually help your ability to move across the map a little bit quicker as you're clearing. I wouldn't say that you want to just spam your W to, get to lane or whatever, but I can definitely see it helping his early clear ability going from camp to camp, and it obviously helps his ganking. E on the other hand, this doesn't change much at all. You don't take E for the slow, you take the E because it creates terrain, and if done properly, you can interrupt knockups, you can interrupt, not knockups, but you can interrupt dashes, you can interrupt hooks. I've seen plenty of clips of Trundle mains knocking themselves out of a blitzcrank hook, which is absolutely hilarious to see. If you time it right, the pillar knocks you up and it interrupts the CC. I've seen it used just to wall people off as they're trying to go through narrow areas of the jungle. So your E isn't really taken as much for the slow as for the ability to create terrain when you want it and stop somebody from going a certain direction. So the 5% slow isn't as big of really isn't a big deal at all. The 10% extra movement speed on W is nice. I would like to see a bit more attack speed on W, or maybe increase the healing buff that you get when your W is active. Moving on though, Victor just gets a bug fix to his passive. I'll skip that. Ziggs. So Ziggs gets a damage buff, 10 at all ranks on his Q. His E now has an extra 10% slow at all ranks, and then his W knocks people back farther. Stronger way to disrupt greater presence in the early game. I guess early that extra 10 damage is great. Late the 10 damage is basically inconsequential, although you do max Q first. And then the ability to slow that greater slow early is actually the nicer part, because if you take your E at level 2, you now have the same slow at level 2 as you would normally get at level, I think that'll be 9? Let's see. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, R, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So yeah, level 10 is when you would normally hit that 30%. If you're maxing Q, then E. If you're maxing Q and W, then you don't hit that until level 15, which is even later. So getting that extra 10% slow is quite nice for him, but I think that's more impactful early than late, which is what they're trying to do. This is nice for his disengages, because 500 is it's decent enough that he can run during that time, or if he knocks himself the opposite direction, then he definitely builds distance between him and the enemy. So honestly, I like this change. It's going to be felt more by people who play against good Ziggs than against bad ones. So let's see. Yeah, I out of all the changes, actually, I kind of like that one the most, just because it's not something that you would think of normally. Anyway, some quick items. Cloak of Agility. People have been stacking this. I've seen Caitlyn's build IE and then 3 Cloak of Agilities. They get 100% crit chance. They finish other crit items, and then it's just absolutely broken. So they're reducing that so that you actually have to make a choice about what you're building early, which I really like that they're forcing that. This change, though, Frozen Heart, 100 to 110 armor. I'm sorry, but Frozen Heart needs something new to it, because in general, the armor item that you go for when you are against an all-AD team is Thornmail, because an all-AD team does still have to auto-attack. Even someone like Zed auto-attacks in with his combo, so that, I don't know, this plus 10 armor, I think, isn't going to be as effective, because it's still a very niche item. But when I think of an all-AD team, or mostly AD team, I don't think Frozen Heart. I think Thornmail, and then I think of picking up like a Dead Man's Plate, because you need health. And then last, Stormrazor gets minus 5 AD. Wow, why did I say minus 10? Anyway, minus 10 AD. And then they bug fix it, so you can't see the visual effects through the Fog of War, which, that's a good fix. Honestly, of the changes, this one I like the most. This one, useless, in my opinion. And then this one's pretty decent. I am not quite sure how strong Stormrazor is, because I haven't gotten to play against it as much. But this one's been the most annoying. Anyway, last big change before we look at some bug fixes. Rift Herald. They're right. People haven't been taking it. It's, even though they tried to give it more priority early by making it spawn twice, you can take it earlier, it's just way too strong. Takes too long to take, and so it's not worth the risk for most people. So they're reducing the health so you can take it faster. I'm not sure what this is here. Yeah, basically, Rift Herald is now a better objective to go for because you can take it quickly, even solo. Okay, next, some bug fixes. First, I want to talk about these two. So if you've seen the streamer, I think it's FXN Saber. He's an extremely good Caitlyn player, and he's been demonstrating this ability to trap somebody, and then you use your net back, and you get a double headshot on the person, which is an insane amount of damage very quickly. So now, if someone's trapped and you net back, you only get the one headshot. You don't get a double headshot. And then here, if you are crowd controlled, you could still auto attack through the CC if someone's netted. So that should also stop when she's in, what is it, Guardian Angel, or if she's been hit by Bartle. She won't be able to auto attack through that. Let's see. There was another one that I saw that, let's see. This, there's people saying that's how it, they just broke how it was supposed to work. But honestly, I would expect it to only show inside that circle, maybe a little bit more. So we'll see how that is actually perceived, what this means. If it's the range, and if your model passes into it, you can see them, that's fine. But her being able to reveal an entire bush with her E was a little bit unacceptable, especially with its low cooldown. And then this is the other one that's been controversial, because this is breaking consistency. Jax's W, or I'm trying to think of another like on hit ability. Teemo Q. No, that's not it. Sorry. That's an actual ability. Jax W is the first one that comes to mind. Skarner's E proc might be another good one because it's an auto attack, but it's empowered in a way. This should be blocked. This really should be blocked by a spell shield. It just makes no sense that it wouldn't be, because it is an ability. I can understand letting the auto attack damage go through, but don't let the extra damage and the silence from the ability go through as well. It's a spell shield. It should stop that. So that, that's a little unfortunate. I really think Riot needs to undo this. I don't think that was a bug. I think that was intended functionality, and they need to revert this just for the sake of consistency. I was praising them so much last patch, and this patch they just kind of undid that. Anyway, moving on, they've got some new skins and chromas. Guardian of the Sands, these look pretty decent. I kind of like the look of Rengar in this one. I'm trying to remember the name of the cat. I want to say it looks like a fennel fox, but that's a fox, not a cat. But definitely looks like a wild cat. One of the small cat varieties that you'd see out in desert areas, because just the tufts on the ears are what make me think of it. Really like the design. Ryze and Janna, they're not in the foreground, so you can't see as much of them, but they look good. I'm going to look at that one in a second. These two, I'm sorry, but they just look kind of, generically Dragon Slayer, right? I think almost every Dragon Slayer skin at this point is red scales and then red glowing weapon, although Diana is purple scales, which is interesting to note. So I want to see her actual model, which we can look at in a second. This one makes me excited. Trundle buffs plus a new skin is great. He hasn't gotten a skin in a while. I think he may be in that 1,000 days club. No, he got the World Breaker skin a while ago, so maybe not. Maybe not quite 1,000 days, but he is one of the less popular champions. The club looks really cool, although it looks very Axe-like. But it's just the blue thematic with the Dragon Slayer skin line. No, it doesn't match up with the rest of it, but at the same time, with the scales, you can still pretty clearly see what it was supposed to be, and it looks good. I really like the helmet. I like the artwork on the face. So I'm really happy with that. Okay, and then one last thing to look at. Dragon Slayer Diana. Okay, so it is a purple skin. Honestly, it's not too bad. You know, this chroma does look like the standard Dragon Slayer skins. This one does have a purple one to match. I assume this one has a purple one. Yeah. So no, these do look good. Let's see. I'm just skimming through these real quick. Looked at that one already. Trying to figure out which one. I want to say this one is going to be the one that they give out to creators. I may be wrong. It may also be this one. It's always a green chroma. Sometimes they give out multiples, actually. So I'm expecting one from the Dragon Slayer line and one from Guardian of the Sands. So not sure which one is going to be given out. It's obviously not going to be Trundle, but one of these. Anyway, I want to say semi-decent patch, but honestly, like, this doesn't fix his issue. This is inconsequential to laning phase. This is inconsequential. This is effective. This is inconsequential. Decent and useless. Okay, yeah. So half of the changes are placebo, inconsequential, like, no reason to make those changes kind of things. So I wouldn't say a good patch. I wouldn't say a bad patch. It was a patch. They fixed some bugs. They fixed some not bugs. Riot, please take a look at how Garen's Q works again. But otherwise, that's the patch. So season's going full strength now. However, the semester's going full strength. I am not playing as much as I normally would this semester, so expect the quality of my analysis to go down. But anyway, this has been the very first Bronze patch notes rundown. I hope you all enjoyed it. Please let me know what you did or didn't like, or what you disagreed with, and I will see you out there on the Rift.